My best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me. I saw no shadow. I looked around, searched every building and home that I found. I saw no shadow, but felt a glow. The warmth inside me, it kept me afloat. It felt like heaven had found my bones and gave me comfort when I feel alone. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone. If I fall, break my bones, I will scream even louder. 'Cause I'm not dying alone. I lost my best friend to 23. She left her body in Harvard above me. My best friend to 23. I heard the heavens crying above me. They gained an angel, I lost a friend. I felt like dying again and again. I went through hell, stared at death, but I keep fighting with each living breath. I saw no way out from where I stood. Felt like the fire had burned me through. Now you're gone, I'm alone. I guess it's time to get better. Through the pain, I will go alone.
Oh, what's up, nerds? Welcome back to the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. We took a week off. We ate a bunch of turkey and gravy and mashed potatoes and green beans casserole. And I don't know, what else do you have at Thanksgiving? Stuffing. And do you eat cranberry sauce? Like,
absolutely.
Is that, you do?
Yes.
You hammer that? It's like a love-hate thing. Just give me the can. Let's go.
That's
do you
right.
do canned cranberry or do you like make it fresh? What do you do?
Doesn't matter. All delicious.
All of the cranberries. All right. Well, you know what, guys? We ate a lot of food and we had a good time with our families, and we hope you guys did as well. But we are happy to be back, and we're going to kick things off today by talking about some new plastic flotation vessels that are going to be rigged up for 2024. So we'll get into that all in just a second. But tonight you can think about it as kayaks, kayak planning, rigging ideas. We want to toss all this stuff around because we want to do some cool stuff next year. And maybe we'll hint at some other big changes that are happening next year. We'll get to that later. Before we get into all of it, if you guys like the podcast, do us a quick little favor. Drop a 5-star review anywhere you listen to this thing and smash a like on this video. That helps us out a lot. And if you want to support the show, super chats are on. All right, we do have a members only live that is coming up on December 12th. That's a Tuesday. It'll be at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, or normal live time, just on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. All members are invited to this thing. We do a giveaway. We do 2 of them typically. And one of the giveaways is going to, schmivaways. Paul's going to get mad. One of the schmivaways will be just for our Snorlax crew members, but the other one is for everybody. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to see you guys there and talk to you in chat. So without further ado, let's get to this Q of the D, because we got a whole bunch of kayak stuff to talk about that I'm stoked on. So Q of the D, Paul, you wrote this.
This one was fun. I put it up on our Instagram, and the chats, like the comment section, kind of got after it, like a lot more than normal. So
well,
I'm throwing this one up in the live.
Yeah.
What state do you think has the best all around fishing situation? So my top, I did like a top 3. I was like, here's my top 3. My top 3 was originally Florida, Maine, and then California. Now, Maine, I think I might switch to like the New Jersey area because it might actually be better.
New England
but I think
coast.
because New York still has the coast. So here's the thing. Here's my thought. Florida, you get offshore, you get inshore, you get the Everglades, You get
Hmm.
rivers, you get gigantic bass, you get peacock bass, you get the great
Hmm.
weather. You get a lot. Like, you get a lot of everything for the most part. Like, you pretty much get it all, which is kinda awesome. You miss out on the
Yep.
freshwater fish, you don't get ice fishing, but that's offset heavily by, like, ocean fishing, right?
Most people don't even care about
Yeah, no
ice
one
fishing,
cares.
dude.
No one cares, right? You
Yeah,
don't have, like, trout, you don't have
sure.
pike, you don't there's
Yeah,
a bunch of stuff you don't have, but you get way more things.
it's offset.
Um,
Uh-huh.
it's pretty dope.
Hmm.
Uh, Maine/New Jersey as my number 2, you get striper, you get
Yeah,
offshore, you get
big.
inshore, you get rivers, you get all the trout, the salmon,
Still get
you
ice.
get the ice, like the mega ice, like the
Yeah,
great ice fishing. You just get a ton, right? Love that.
yeah,
That's hard. And from what I've just seen some people do some unbelievable things in like the Jersey area. So
yeah,
the Maine/New Jersey, that like northeast. In California, you get mountain streams and creeks, you get amazing lake fishing, you get incredible offshore
yeah.
ocean fishing, you get beach surf type stuff. Like, now you don't get the Everglades, which is why the Everglades actually is what bumps Florida all the way up because it's like its own
Sure.
ecosystem that's really unreal for me. And you also get like the swamps too, and you don't
Yeah,
get that in California. So I think, but the California has like the premium weather, like the absolute best
sure.
fishing weather you could ask for. So that was my top 3, with New Jersey being the asterisk that kind of got thrown in for the Northeast for me.
So, what about like the Gulf?
I, but
You
Florida,
get
you
like
get the Gulf side.
you
I mean, you
do,
don't
but you
get
also
the
have
other
Texas,
one. Yeah,
Louisiana,
Texas
like
is awesome, but Texas, you get no cold water fish. You get no natural lakes whatsoever. Now you do
yeah,
get the man-made beast mode lakes, but Florida has a lot of those fish as well.
yeah,
And yes, you get the ocean, but like I feel like you're missing a lot, and the weather's not as good. So
yeah,
I don't think you get the like you don't get the swamp. I feel like you're missing quite a bit as
yeah,
compared to Florida. I think Florida with the Everglades just trumps all those really, really great southern states just by a hair. Even though they're great, I think Florida beats most of them. A lot of people said South Carolina, North Carolina, which I totally get because you get the
sure.
ocean and some really great fishing. I think Florida beats it though. I just think Florida beats it. You get way more coastline too.
Yeah.
Florida's gotta have the most coastline next to Texas.
I mean, yeah, it's a peninsula state,
It's a
right? Like,
monster.
so
It's a freaking
it,
monster.
yeah,
Um, and then, and some people said Virginia. Virginia was like the sleeper that cropped up
really?
a couple of different times.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the one thing I will give like South Carolina, Virginia that
Mhm.
Florida doesn't have, the stream fishing is significantly better.
Sure.
Like significantly better, way better.
I
Um,
would have no idea.
but the
It's
weather,
fun. I lived
the
there for
Florida
4
weather,
years.
like, are you kidding me? I
I
wouldn't
lived in the
trade that.
wrong
I
I
feel
lived in
like
the wrong area.
that's a big jump, man. You get a
Yeah.
big win. So for my top 3 remains unchanged. It remains unchanged.
Yeah, so, Hook Life says North Coast, of Florida on the Gulf side is legit. The Appalachicola has it all.
Rocket says we have natural lakes. I was under the impression, I believe that there was one natural lake, but really they're all man-made.
Oh, no, dude. I have
That's my
no idea.
understanding. I mean, if you
You're
can list all of the natural lakes, I feel like that's all you really need to know.
boom, boom, boom.
Like, if you knew all of it's like, okay,
Yeah.
most
Okay.
states are like, "Well, I know these man-made lakes,
Right, right. It's the
maybe,"
opposite.
and
Yeah.
they're the opposite, so I feel like that's
No,
all you
I
really need to
I
know.
could I could see Florida. I could totally agree with that, and it's definitely a state that I go to enough that I just want the ability to put more time on the water in, and, like, really, I don't know, enjoy it. So, I'm sure there's a lot of opportunity there. There's a lot of big fish, a lot of big bass,
Yeah.
so
Florida strain is like
yeah,
I think the 2nd or 3rd biggest average strain. And you
right?
get peacock bass, but you get all I just the inshore is so good. I don't
Right.
know. And like
No, totally.
it's not that Louisiana is bad. It's incredible. It's not that Georgia's bad. No, it's amazing.
It's just
South
similar
Carolina is
and
so good. But Florida is like all
yeah.
that and maybe like a little extra in there
I
because the
thought you were gonna
Everglades are
say,
like its own
"And
thing
a
also.
bag of chips,"
And
which you disappointed me.
I know,
That's
that's a
okay.
miss there, and I mean, Michigan is unbelievable. Michigan's
Yeah,
very good, but but you take away the entire Atlantic Ocean I can't compete with New Jersey. Yeah, I mean, just
We
throw in
yeah.
striper alone, and it's like, you win. Like you win. I don't.
We don't
It
have any
doesn't say.
saltwater species. We're
Yeah,
salt-free lakes, and like
yeah,
we do have the Great Lakes, and it's something that
they
you and
are
I
great.
we don't capitalize on it though. So we could have a good time with that as well. It's a lot of
I
work.
just
It's a
mean in
lot of
general. I just mean it for
yeah.
anybody in total. Like Michigan is phenomenal.
The funny thing to me is like you put this out and you were surprised that you got hammered with comments. This is like such a
Well,
nationalism thing. It's like my state, my state, my state's the best. Of course, everybody's gonna like come
yeah.
represent for wherever they live. They're like my state's great.
Michigan didn't
Um,
make the top 3 for me.
Michigan didn't?
No.
I'm not surprised. That's different though. Like we don't think that way. Like most
Oh,
people are gonna be like, my
yeah.
state's the best.
I don't. I
You
was
got to
not
come
at
to my
all.
lake that's behind my house. It's the only lake I fish. It's the best lake on the
It's
planet.
the best lake in the world. Salt.
No,
Okay,
I would go to
Brown
Florida.
Bacon says Georgia. Oh, Georgia's. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's fair.
The Jersey Shore is filthy. All right, cooler lid. We all know. Every time I like go to Jersey, I'm just like, woo, close these vents in the vehicle.
Yeah, yeah, it's
That
totally
place
true.
stinks.
But Jersey fishing is unbelievable. It
Yeah, I
really
mean,
is.
you get some insane opportunity for it's undeniable. Like I will put up with the stench for it,
Kind of,
no
yeah.
doubt.
I feel like yes.
Jason says Northern Canada.
Northern Canada's
Interesting.
great, but
Yeah,
like you can't. I, can I? You just the saltwater fishing is just not there. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah,
You can't. If you, it's basically got to be somebody. It's got to be a state that borders one of the oceans. If it doesn't border
yeah,
an ocean, you are taking an L. Like you
yeah.
just are.
Yeah, I'll go with Florida too. I
I
feel
think
pretty
so.
good about that, and I think we should go fish there more because that would
Well,
be
I
awesome.
did it and it was unreal. It was super
Hmm.
cool. I mean, guide or not, I mean, after watching the way the guide was fishing, it's not that I think I could do his job, but like with maybe 5 years of experience in a boat, I could luck into a ton of fish.
Sure,
I could do it. I
there's a
could do it.
plethora of fish there.
I could do it.
I got this. All right, so let's get into the topic at hand. Then I think it's time for this.
Yes,
So we'll
I'm
start
ready.
out. I think we start out with the boats, right? So what happened? Where are we now? What are we looking at for next year? I think at this point, everybody knows that the Hobies have gone down the drain for us in terms of like
The
our
spiral
ability.
of death.
They are in the spiral of death. They've gone down the drain in terms of our ability to trust them. That's the problem, right? So it's not that they're not fishable vessels. It's not that I couldn't just go ahead and use it. Mine's getting fixed right now. So I mean, it's in freaking Indiana, but
Mhm.
it'll be back at some point. They had to order parts. We found out what part it was. It's the drive shaft for the 360
Oh, it
drive,
is?
which yeah, you have to replace the whole thing because I've looked up ways you
That's
can
gotta be a
buy.
$500 fix.
No, it's like a $40 fix. You can buy, yeah, you can buy the belt for $5, but you can get the whole drive shaft for 40. So the goal is get the drive shaft because replacing the belt within that is such a pain in the butt. I watched a
Yeah.
guy do it on YouTube and I
I
was
was
like, I'll
thinking
never be that.
labor-wise is where you would get hammered.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna get it done. We're gonna get it replaced, and then we're gonna like put it back out there. The guys at the Dry Dock Marine in Angola, Indiana. These are the guys taking care of it. They've taken care
Mhm.
of my boat 3 other times. Everything's fine. I trust those guys, so I think we get that back. Mine's already listed on Facebook. I think yours is listed on Facebook
Not on Facebook,
Marketplace.
that's where I need to get it up
Yeah,
there.
you
I
do.
just haven't done it, I don't know why.
You have it on Craigslist or something? Like, what do you got?
Yeah, I've got it on, like, 5 different smaller sites,
Yeah.
just not because I know what's gonna happen. Once I p one, I just it's just something I don't know, it's like a hurdle, a mental hurdle I haven't
Uh
done.
huh.
Once I put it on Facebook, I don't have a Facebook, but Haley does, so it has to go on her account. She
She's
will
gonna be
get
fielding messages.
ravaged by insane people being like, "Can I have it for 13 nickels?" And you'd be like, "No,
Maybe.
no, you
Uh,
can't."
Haley will be like, yes. So the thing is, though, like you get it up listed now, it's not selling now. Like it's going to sell
No,
in the spring at best, and most likely we're sitting on these for a while.
a year.
So I don't know about you, but I am adding. Well, you have your storage facility, right? So you can go like store the stuff somewhere else offsite. Mine's all in my garage. I don't have a storage facility. So for me, I've tried ordering wall racks for my kayaks, and freaking Amazon lost them. Like, just lost them. I was like, cool. So I don't have those, but I'm gonna get some at some point, and I'm gonna end up putting the Shoaly and then the little sit inside that I have up on the wall, and then I've got the boat we'll talk about in a second, and then I got the Hobie that'll be on the rack. So yeah, for anybody here that's maybe looking for a really nice kayak that will have brand new replacement parts, you bought a new drive. I'm getting a new drive set up, so the clutch and the drive shaft fully replaced on mine. If you want one with all the fixins except for the live scope, in my case, I don't know if you're going to include yours or not. DM us, hit us up, make us an offer. We'll figure something out. We're definitely willing
It'll
to
be
let
the
them
best
go.
deal you'll ever get.
We're gonna
It
let
won't
them
be
go at a
close.
discount.
Massive. It won't be close.
So if you want them from us, great. We're happy to figure it out. You got to come get them. I'm not shipping them. So if you can come grab them, it's all yours, pal. Otherwise, they're sitting on Facebook Marketplace where we are. So yeah, those are going. That said, new kayaks, right? We went to ICAST. We talked to some folks. We shook some hands. We kissed some babies. We made some stuff happen, and now we have some old towns that have. Well, mine has arrived. Yours is coming Friday, right?
Mine gets delivered by noon on Friday.
Sweet. So we got some old towns that we're going to be playing around with. So here's what we went. Let's start with the model, and then kind of like our ideas behind how we're going to use it, where we're going to go with this, and maybe we get into some rigging after that. So what I went with was the Big Water 132, and what you went with was what?
The 106, the 10.5-foot PDL.
The pedal.
Sportsman.
Yep. The
That's
pedal
right.
106 Sportsman. So we went two very different routes, and there's a purpose for that. We had the pleasure of hanging out with Creek Fishing Adventures, which was pretty awesome when we were down in Alabama, and we were talking to Creek. You asked him a question, and one of those questions was like, if you had one kayak, like of your arsenal, because he has like 5, 6, 7 kayaks or whatever, what would be the one that you would use the most? And it was Sportsman Pedal 106. This was after we had placed our order.
And I knew that was going to be no, it was after.
Yeah.
It was
we
after
ordered
I'd
before
already
that.
placed. Yeah, I knew that was going to be his answer too. Like,
yeah,
and that's what I had the. He said it has the same stability and tracking and capability as the 12, the longer one, but it's in the 10.6. And so when you're in the 10.5 foot and you can navigate monster water, but you can also get into a creek or a river, that one boat right there, it can do it all, because you could take the drive out and it still only weighs like 70 pounds, 75 pounds. So that is a good creek vessel, but you can stand up in a big, unless you're a giant wave, but you can stand up in a big lake and cast all day. And I've done it. I had it for 2 days on Mille Lacs, and I was like, it felt the same as my Hobie. I was like, this is silly. I still remember being like, I'm really surprised, and it's freaking fast. So for me, that checks all the boxes for what I needed, and we can get into that in a minute. And we're actually getting to the end of like how you what's the decision tree you need to like climb in order to get to that right answer. We'll do that later. But yeah, I went with the 10.6, and yeah, I'm super happy with my choice. It's not even here yet, and I'm thrilled. I went with the dark. Was it the smoke that I went with? I ended up going with. I think it was the dark gray.
Yeah, I think isn't it similar to mine? Isn't it like the same color? I went with the old school camo.
The old school camo is more like a tan gray. Mine is all gray. I think it's like all gray.
Okay.
Two different shades of gray, I think is what it is.
So you were gonna go with like that bluish color,
blue, and they were
camo?
like, we're not doing that anymore.
They're like, we're done with that. And the orange is like everybody has the orange, so we're like, we don't want that.
Yeah.
So I went with the old school camo because I remember when you had your Predator MX, I was like, I want that camo.
Baby.
And like nobody had it. Nobody used it. Nobody, like no brand was using it, just Old Town. So, now that we're back in them, I'm pretty stoked about it. And I've had like the Big Water 132 is similar to the Predator 13 foot. Like it's a very similar build. It's got a similar mid console, everything. They've upgraded it all, which is me stoked. And like it's wider, it's more stable, it's got more stuff built in. You got your forward facing rod holder. I like totally forgot about when I was doing the unboxing of it. I was like, dude, so of course I have this now. It's so great.
God,
So we got a lot of stuff in there that comes
it,
stock, which is
I
great.
I have
And there's a
yeah,
lot
I
we got
have
to
to
do.
I gotta break in that forward facing rod holder. It's not
Uh-huh.
just a rod holder; it's flush mounted right at your hip.
Right.
So
It's
it's
so much
out of the
better.
way.
Yep.
It is in the perfect spot. It is, in my personal opinion, next to some of the console work that's been done with kayaks in the last couple of years, like the center ports
Yep.
and the side flip top consoles, the ones that Old Town builds into their drives and stuff.
Yep.
Next to that, it's probably my favorite. It's probably my favorite kayak invention upgrade that
Yeah.
I've seen in the last like 5 years. And there are a lot of them that I like. That one takes the cake for me still. And the
Yeah.
fact that every single fishing kayak doesn't have one blows my friggin' gourd. I can't believe it. I can't. I can't believe
No,
every single person, like every kayak should
yeah.
have one.
Absolutely, I hear it. And now, before we keep going on these kayaks, I want to call out real quick. The Burly AAA hype man has won Rick's junk. Laughing face has said, now that you've experienced southern fishing, when are you coming back? Need to fish in warm weather. I agree. In fact, I thought that's what we were going to get, and we didn't. But that's fine. AAA needs another road trip for Nerd Bros weekend. Just do it. Just do it. All right. When are we going back? I don't know. Are we going back? Yeah, absolutely. At some point. So I think logistically, Paul and I always just have to work it out far in advance. In this case, it was a year in advance, but we got to work it out well in advance so we can make it work. But we will be back down, and I would love to do more nerd meetups because that was a blast hanging out with you guys. Had an absolute blast. And also shout outs to DeBurley for being a member of the Snorlax crew for 32 months. It was a long freaking time, man. Appreciate you. So yeah, getting back to the kayak. So you got the 106. You went pedal. I actually went paddle. And the reason that I went paddle with
Well,
the big
you
water,
say you went paddle. You
I
went
say that
What you did was you went non-pedal is what you did.
preparing
That's
for
not the same.
motorization.
Max propulsion.
So I will be propelled by an electric motor, and I'm pretty excited about that. So obviously, Big Water has a pedal version too. I thought about it, and you can do pedal and motor, and then you can essentially have all three ways to maneuver.
The
It's just
weight
it
though,
gets
nah. And the
the weight
hull, nah.
skyrockets. It's just not ideal. And in fact, if you want to look at a video, Jeff Little just did the Big Water with pedal. He added a motor to it. So if you want to see what that looks like, there you go. He
Yeah,
went
I'm
all
not
in.
interested. I'm just not interested in that. I'm really
Yeah,
just not. I'm not.
no,
The open
me
deck
neither.
is such a huge, huge win.
Right?
Like, yeah, I'm just not interested.
No, 100%. So what'll end up happening, right, is we'll have our shoalies, and then we're gonna have our old towns.
Well, the
And you have
the Shoaly would be strictly
that's
for
the river
moving water.
vessel, right? So we got our river vessel,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna have the extra, right? You got the light tackle too, which you're also thinking about doing motorized, and then I would be motorizing the big water, and then you have the pedal kayak. So I actually need to figure something else out or keep my Hobie once it's fixed. So
Yeah.
we'll get there when we get there. The ideal situation for me right now, as far as a motor goes, I'm not going to say which brand because I haven't worked out what we're going to do with it. But obviously, there's like two behemoths, and then there's Bixby. And yeah, I put them on the side. I've used the Bixby. It's just so much slower than the Torpedo. It's not even on the same playing field.
They're
So
not the
I'm really
same.
looking at the Torpedo or the Newport,
Newport.
right? So
Yeah.
Newport just came out with that. They come out to essentially the same cost.
They're the same.
Both you can
There's some
use.
slight differences from a battery standpoint.
There
That's the
is,
biggest thing.
right? So like I'm favoring the Torpedo a little bit. I mean, that's kind of where my head's at. We just got to figure out logistically how to work this out. And build wise, we're also going to build in those Wilderness Innovations foot pedals, which they just dropped the angle pedals for control, which I'm pretty stoked about as well. So they had previously, we saw in Jeff Little's kayak, they had these flat pedals, right? Which was kind of a pain in the butt because your heel would catch.
Kind of.
It was a pain in the butt because your heel would catch. So now they have the angled ones, which I'm pretty stoked about. So that way your heel doesn't catch when you're steering. So the cool thing about those is like you press your foot right, you go right, you press your foot left, you go left, or whatever. So it just makes steering the vessel a whole lot easier, and I don't have to rely on my my rudder. So you can make some pretty like turn on a dime, like good clutch turns with that. I'm stoked about it. And I'll probably get the rock guard and all that stuff. So the whole deal is this, you guys. We got some build outs to do. I think with Paul's 106, he's going to gear it up. I'm sure you're going to put, a sonar on there. You were talking about doing the Humminbird or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually some of the biggest things, like there's some basics that we got to do with any kayak that you get a hold of. So you've got to get your rod holder game square. You've got to get your paddle holding game squared up. You got to get your anchor situation lined up. You got to get your crate situation square. Like you got to figure out like those 5 things, right? Any tool type, accessory type stuff. You just got to get a few things lined up. Right after that, for me, it's if it's a motor, sure, it's the motor, but electronics is kind of a big one. I happen to be fortunate enough to have extra electronics. They aren't fancy, but I can find out what's underneath me, so I'm good. Um,
Yep.
I would really like to get back into the Humminbird game. I don't need the 12-inch. I think the 10-inch is probably where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's all I want. Whatever I can get away with, the most minimum that I can get away with, except that I really want to try the Mega Live.
Of course you do.
Well, the Mega Live.
Yeah.
So the way Mega Live works, I've been watching a lot of videos on Mega Live versus the Panoptics versus the Lowrance version. Mega Live is way more about like a 360 view around your boat and being able to see forward a lot further. The live scope is a one-shot view. Now you can turn the transducer and angle it. It's still only going to be 90 degrees at a look. Mega 360 is a totally different game, and I really want to do that. I also have liked. I still after having the Lauren, the Lowrance cheapo,
Good old Lauren.
the Garmin,
The
which
Hook 2.
I really do love.
Yep.
But and having had the old Humminbird, the interface on the Humminbird is head and it just for personal preference is head and shoulders above the others. I would like to get back to the Humminbird interface. It's so nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'm perfectly content with my Garmin. B Dooley is already hitting us up like, hey, you need more Garmins. We appreciate you, B Dooley. Thank you so much, man. I'm gonna keep my Garmin the way it is, and it's moving to the Old Town. So I already like this center console mount that this Old Town has. Like it's rigged and ready for it. So I'll take a look at some different options for how to rig that up. But yeah, it's gonna move over. Panoptics, we'll have to figure out how to put that on the inside of the hull here. So there's a lot of things that we gotta do. Now here's kind of the goal as far as getting these projects going, and we can get into like the specific details here. The goal would be obviously 2024. Our fishing season in the kayaks is done. Like it's too cold, it's too nasty. Like it was 21 to 27 degrees today. It's been snowing. We don't have ice. But getting the fish is a super big pain in the butt.
Water temps are still 45.
Yeah. It's just like not really worth it. So we're just filming now. This becomes filming season in garages. It's not my favorite because I'd rather be fishing. That said, there's still plastics we need to make. And also we need to film these kayaks, right? So I think what we'll do is we'll drop a video just on like, hey, here's the kayaks and like our ideas that we want to do to them. And also, I'm looking at you guys. Like, if you have ideas, if you have videos that you've seen of people rigging out like the Light Tackle 2 from Crescent, which is probably one of your bigger builds that you're gonna do, and then my Old Town Big Water. Like, if you have ideas or suggestions or places, resources that we could check out, we'd appreciate it. Send us a link, DM us on Instagram. We'd love to see that. And if you guys have any suggestions in chat, feel free to let us know as well. I would love to see that too. 19 degrees, JT. Are you serious?
It was
hoping for a 50-degree day.
It was 17.
Gross.
2 days ago here.
Yeah, here makes sense. Like he's a little further south, a lot further south, isn't he?
Indiana.
Southern tip, Indiana. Southern section, Indiana.
I thought he was. Yeah, he's closer to
maybe.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Still.
Huh. Interesting. That is gross. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, back to the builds. What are you doing to your 106? Like, so you're just gonna add, you want to add Hummingbird, maybe you go Mega Life. Let's like put that on the list. What else are you thinking about doing on the 106?
Dude,
Not
that's
much,
it.
right?
I need something that's to be honest, that kayak is probably depending on how much you enjoy using the motor, that kayak may I'm gonna hold off to be honest on for a while until I get a motor because what I need to
On the
know
light
is
tackle?
how much do I love the light tackle with a motor, and does
Uh-huh.
that need to be my main rig? And then
Uh,
when we
yeah,
hit smaller lakes, all I need is basic, and I throw on
the
the old hook
106.
2
Yeah.
on the 106, and it's just like a get it done no
Yeah.
matter what, part it around. Because here's the other thing, you guys, when you add a motor to these kayaks, you I don't love the idea of like not trailering them around.
Yeah.
That really I don't know how much I like that. Like, throwing that in the back and having it bounce around the back of my truck does not give me the warm and fuzzies, even with the
Sure.
bed extender. So, it kinda gets me to a place where I'm like, all of a sudden, if we wanna go fishing, it's one of us has the trailer,
Hmm.
goes to the other spot, and then, we gotta meet up maybe because,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know how even just moving it around, like, you added maybe 100 pounds to your build. Don't love
Um,
that.
no, yeah, for sure. So one thing I'll throw out there, if anybody knows any good trailer companies or trailer modifiers, anybody who makes custom kayak trailers, we'd be all ears. If they want to connect and figure something out where it makes sense for us, we might be down for that. We might end up with two. Like you might have one, I might have one, single trailers. It is what it is.
But I kinda want a double, like
Well, I mean, there's no, if you're going to get a single, a double isn't typically like that, and it's not that much more. Like, you could get a double, and you could also have like the accessory or the rod tube, and then we could just use it when we're by ourselves. You got your one kayak on there, but if we
yeah.
have to go on a trip, we just grab one of our trailers and take it for the trip, and
'Cause
that'd be fine. Yeah,
that's where it gets you is like, "Oh, no." Like, I now have almost no way of doing any trip that I would ever wanna do later on. I just don't
sure.
have a way to do it.
Yeah, this way we could carpool if we both had like a dual trailer.
How miserable was that rental?
It was horrible because the kayaks were in a poor position. I think it caused damage to both of our kayaks, and then
100%.
that could have contributed to my drive failure. And
Got
then it
shit
also,
missing all over the place, got
you
baits
lost
flopping
stuff.
around. I got, like, 90 hooks in my net. Like, the friggin'
So you guys, on the way home, Paul's kayak was tipped sideways because one had to be sideways, one had to be flat. We used a U-Haul trailer, if anybody doesn't know, because we're not cool. We don't have kayak trailers. But all of Paul's like dead lures were in his little like
and
lure
I had
section,
the most. I
and they
had
all
so
dumped
many.
out.
I probably had 40 body baits
I
fucking
put mine
floating
away,
around.
so you left yours out, and that's what happens. And your lid, oh, dude, on the way to
Gone.
fish, or was it on the way
Bye.
home?
No, on the way to fish.
On the way to fish for no, it would have been on the way
No, on
home.
the
It was
way
either
out.
it was on the way out. We were driving out
Day 1.
early morning, and the front of the Hobie popped open, and like your Garmin head unit was laying on the trailer bed.
With no
Dude,
rear gate,
no, it was so bad.
just 4
So
grand sitting there
almost
on the
lost
floor.
a very expensive Garmin.
What a
That would
joke.
have been
What a
awful.
joke. It
Yeah.
was a nightmare. I hated every second of it.
Point is, we need a kayak trailer. All right. So
I
if
think
anybody has a
so, and you gotta
hookup,
get the double.
you guys DM us, DM that company, whatever. We're willing to talk to somebody. We'll figure it out. We would love to get some of that stuff going. And then JT, like obviously you got yours, which I went
He
with
says he's got an
FTK.
FTK
Cool.
instead of OTWI because the
The
frames are a
frames.
lot bigger.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on it. I don't know where to start with it. So, somebody help me out. And if a company wants to work with two friggin' fellas that want to like soup up their kayaks, like let us know. The other thing I was thinking about, dude, is I was thinking about talking to Dugout. Like not necessarily going down there, but Dugout has like a whole section of the website and what they do where they like custom rig kayaks. It's like they're
Yeah,
artists, man.
yeah.
So I might hit them up just for ideas. Like, hey, have you rigged a big? They carry Old Town. It's like, hey, have you rigged a big water? How would you do this?
Do they
And maybe
only do Hobies?
no, that on their website they carry multiple brands. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know. Sure, they do Hobies. Obviously, that's like the big thing. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I would
never
still hit
looked.
them up. Like, they're still going to be knowledgeable about
Oh yeah,
rigging it, and
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we collab with them on a video and make something happen. It'd be pretty neat. Find a jet ski trailer and mod it. It is an option. It's
Not
just
a
not ideal.
welder.
I don't want that. I don't want to deal
No.
with that.
I like the idea of like maybe
Yeah.
customizing one, but I am not gonna be out there.
I
If
like
there's a
this.
weld involved, I'll not be doing it.
I like the specifics. I also like the ramped bunks, right? So that when you like back in, you can slide that kayak down safely. Like, I kind of like that idea too. And then we don't need wheels. What? Chaz? Chaz is saying things. My what?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I got you. I hear you. There's you have the opportunity to go find welders. Like, we can find them. We're in Michigan. There's a billion of them. Everybody welds. That's what makes you a Michigan man, I guess. I don't know. There's a lot of welders here. So we could do that. I don't know. That's like a at least 20,000 view YouTube video, probably. Somebody's like, oh, look at my modified jet ski trailer. Do I want to do it? Not really, though. I kind of want like a much neater kayak specific trailer, I think. I just don't want to pay $50 bajillion for it. So, ipso facto, call a bunch of companies and see who wants to hook a brother up or two. All right. So we'll stay tuned on that. I think getting back to the kayaks right now. So we know lineup. 2024 lineup as it stands right now without any other like miracles happening, which I don't think will. What we do have is we have the Old Town, your lineup, the Old Town 106 pedal. You got your Crescent Light Tackle 2, which we're thinking about. Let's put a motor on that thing. That would be the perfect platform for it. And that was like the one that we tried out first with the Torpedo with Jeff Little. So I'm stoked on seeing that platform built.
I've just seen him do so much in it. I have
Oh,
so much
yeah.
faith that that is going to be the most durable,
Mm-hmm.
fast, perfect boat for any like long adventures.
Yeah, 100%. And then you got your Shoaly for moving water, right? The Shoalys, they're already done. They're set up. They're designed to run light. They're designed for moving water. We're happy with those setups.
Yes.
And then for my lineup, I'll have the Shoaly for my moving water, and then I'm going to have the big water. Whether or not the Hobie makes it another year, we'll see. I'm intending on selling that to fund the motor, right? Like that's my intention. That leaves me without a pedal kayak, so everything will have to be motored. So the trailer is going to be like priority numero uno or dos, I guess, to the motor for me.
I mean, you
It's
could
going to
do.
have
I
to
think you
happen.
can trade. I think you can do it with the truck and the extender. It's not that. It's just
And
like
wheels, heavy duty ass
heavy
wheels that I
wheels
don't
and like
have.
just think about the logistics of moving that. Like right now, how do you push
Yeah.
and pull your Hobie when you need to move it? You grab the rear handle. Period. Like you never grab it from the side. And now
Yep.
you're gonna have. I mean, you're gonna have a prop back there, and you're gonna have a big metal cage and
Yep.
a battery. And it's like I don't. I think yeah, I think the trailers you can do it. It's not that you can't. I think what we'll my thought is what we'll find very quickly is that a trailer will be the preferred option. You know what we really
Yeah.
need? I need a I need two single trailers that can when we bring
Daisy
out our
chain.
Zords merge together into a Megazord trailer and then is now
Bro,
yeah, and then is
billion
now
dollar idea.
a dual axle trailer. That's what I really need. I need to be able to go
Go Power
Power Rangers,
Rangers.
go Megazord, beeper beeper, and then they are a dual axle trailer. That's what I really need. That's what I really need.
Uh,
I'm just thinking out loud here. You know, I
yeah, I
just want to
know. Like,
manifest this.
listen, Robert gets it. We're gonna be millionaires. We're gonna be thousandaires at least.
I get $1 million idea every time I log on here.
How many of them have gone the distance? Zero. All right, continuing
I
on.
had the idea.
So yeah, I mean, I think the projects are going to be for the light tackle 2 and the big water, right? Like, so the project boats for next year, you guys, that we're going to have to do a crap ton of videos on are going to be those two boats. There's going to be motors. Ideally, Paul and I are probably going to flip a coin. One person gets the Newport, one gets the Torpedo, and then we got to rig those out on those boats. That way, we get to try out 2 different brands, see how they go, give you guys
That's always
feedback,
really
do some
important to us.
reviews.
That
Yeah.
question's already come up like 3 times in
What?
chat. I think a lot of people want to know which direction to go. It'd be really nice to do a field tested pro and con. It'd be nice to do a race. It'd be
Right.
nice to get out on St. Clair,
Uh-huh.
get them both going until one of them craps out. Like I think that
Yeah.
check the turning radius on both of them. Like I think all that kind of stuff is a really important. I just want to know. You know what I mean? So and I think people do too.
100%. 100%. And if we can find a way to get hooked up on those, we'll figure it out. But it's got to happen either way. So I think project wise, if I'm looking at my big water, like I got to put the Garmin on there. So I got to figure out forward facing sonar. I got to decide. I'll probably go with this same setup I have on the Hobie, just I won't do that rail at the front. I'm going to use the center console for it. And then the Panoptics, I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that. Where does it go in the hull? Because it's not just going to be floating around. So there's got to be a way to mount that sucker and make it work well. Maybe it goes behind me. I don't know. We're going to figure that out. That said, there's also the batteries to deal with. And then I'm losing space in the back. Like the Hobie is endless capacity behind me. The big water is about 68% of that amount, right?
I was gonna say you're probably losing about 30%.
Exactly. So I think I lost a third of the room that I had behind the seat.
In the rear, yeah.
Yep. And I did end up going with the Black Pack Pro. So I ordered that.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, yeah.
I mean, it was 25% off on Black Friday, and I was
It's
like,
not the cost. The cost is
I have the
irrelevant.
funds. I'll go for it. Like,
Yeah.
So I left my H crate on the Hobie, right? So the H crate's in Indiana. So I don't have a crate right now, and I don't feel like driving an hour to get it. 2 hours drive. So I was like, I'll get the Black Pack Pro. Why not? I need it anyways. If I choose to go somewhere, I don't know that I even will go fishing the rest of the year. But so I got the Black Pack Pro. I did this 16 by 16. Now it does fit. It fits. and there is still surprisingly a decent amount of room in the big water, right? Like it is a pretty high capacity boat. And the cool thing is there's if you guys have seen this, like the big water has this rail and it's set behind the seat a little ways. So when the seat's in its high position, you have a ton of storage underneath the seat. You have a pocket underneath. Oh no, did we break?
He's on mute. This is classic.
We're good now. Can everyone hear me? Oh no. A few people are saying maybe it's on their end. Maybe it's on our end. I don't know. Brian Cotton says, hit up Chad Hoover. Okay, so Josh hears me now, so we're good. So for a second, we got dropped. We're back. And we're back. So yeah, Hoover, sure, I'll hit him up. He's got a guy that does trailers. Awesome. We'll see if we can get hooked up there somehow. Okay, so yeah, all I was saying is like there's a lot of capacity back there. Now, will I be able to use all 6 rod holders that come with the 16 by 16? Maybe if I take the lid off. So right now I have the lid on.
You need
have
to take
put
the
it
lid
in
off.
Sideways. I think so. I think the lid has to come
off.
Yeah. So the rod holders fit in like a bow to stern.
Side. Yeah.
Bow to stern, right? Like they're on the front and back. They have to be. They don't fit on the sides unless I build a platform for the crate to sit on, which I could do. I don't think it would add a lot of weight, but it would put that much.
If you strap it down, it wouldn't.
No. So I mean, I'm thinking about it. The audio
You know
is
what you
dropping.
need? You don't need a platform. What you probably need is just